This is Joyce Tice from the History Center on Main Street. We're over in our History Center Museum, and this is our newest exhibit, Mansfield People Change the World. Well, that's a pretty lofty title, but this exhibit is about us. We call ourselves the Museum of Us. And what we have here is a very diverse collection of items, each one of which represents a person who graduated from Mansfield High School. The school has graduated about 104 classes so far, and about 7,000 people. We're only representing a very few, but we hope to have this grow so that more and more people send in items representing all the different things Mansfield people have done with their lives. Up here on the wall, way up high, we have some old leather mail bags, and they represent Stephen Beach, who graduated in the first class, 1913. He was a mail carrier. We have a large number of Mansfield High School graduates who worked at the Postal Service. And up here, we have a collage of thumbprints from the graduation of North Penn Mansfield High School in 2016. After graduation, every person put their thumbprint and initials there. And we're hoping to get something from the class of 17. Just to take a quick tour around, up here we have the official uniforms of the Rinky Dinks Band, which was founded some 50 years ago by Louise Palmer, also known as Louise Harris, who graduated from Mansfield High School in 1926. She and her daughters and several other people from Roseville founded this band, which only performs once a year at 4th of July in the parade. They're famous for their torn overalls and lawn chairs, which they use frequently. Here we have items from the Mansfield Novelty, which was at one time the largest producer of children's tops in the world. Chester Schonbacher, class of 1936, and his brother Gerald Schonbacher, class of 38, ran the business for many years. It was started by their father. Up here, we have Ken Brace, class of 1927, and a display of American Legion medals and memorabilia. We've got matchbooks from Wells and Goodall representing Stub Wells of 26 and, Howard Goodall of 26 and Stub Wells of 29. We have fans from the Shaw Funeral Home and the Shaw and Rabina Funeral Home. Both Wilford Shaw and his wife Genevieve Cox were in the class of 22. After his death, Genevieve ran it with Bucky Rabina as Shaw and Rabina Funeral Home. These wine bottles were actually the inspiration for this display. Tom Brace, class of 65, makes his own wine, and he gave me a couple of bottles with these very nice labels designed by his daughter, and I thought they were just too nice to not put on display, and it all grew out of that. Down here we have matchbook with Oliver Richard Bartlett running for commissioner, and a little thing about Richard being one of the youngest Tioga County commissioners. He served as commissioner from 75 to 95. Here are the original grandmas of Grandma's Kitchen, sisters Eleanor Cleveland and Margaret Cleveland, classes of 39 and 41. We have a menu and a cup. Many will remember Al Jones, who was fire chief for many years. We have a cup. And Keith Cole, who was a local policeman in town. We have the West brothers. Foster West had Canyon Motel in Wellsboro, and Sarah Clark and Stuart West had West Motel. Up here is a painting by Cindy Kelly from the class of 71, and another by Genevieve Smith of the class of 31. Chester Bailey and his wife Mary ran the Mansfield Advertiser as editors and printers for many years. And we have Chester's original typewriter that he actually used. Chester graduated in 1931. Over here, we have a little display commemorating some of Brett York's bowling trophies, right next to his grandfather Ralph York and a booklet he wrote in high school called Shall I Be a Farmer? Brett's grandmother, Lena Lewis Ripple, painted the original Farmer in the Dell sign. And Sherry Hafer and Harold Courtney ran and owned Farmer in the Dell. So we have several artifacts from them. These and many others are here, and this will grow. In fact, now I'm looking for you. Are you here? Well, here's an empty shelf. Right here's an empty shelf. There would be room for something of yours, something that represents something you've done in your life or an event you've been to, something that's important to you. It doesn't have to be great and wonderful, but we want to represent as many of our Mansfield High School people here as we can.